Thoughts about low-carb, high-protein diets like the keto diet, the paleo diet, anything low-carb, high-protein?
Yeah, well, it comes from every 5 or 6 years, the low-carb diets come up again. It's Atkins, then it died out, then it was South Beach, then it died out. Now it's keto, and it'll die out again, it'll come back. And it's based on this idea that we get fat from eating bread or rice or potatoes. But if you look at the populations that eat the most carbohydrate, they're the skinniest of anybody. I'm talking about rural Japan. Before McDonald's showed up, they were eating rice and noodles and a pretty high carbohydrate diet. They were skinny, they lived longer than everybody else. They had very little diabetes and so forth. And that's true in this country. When you look at people who transition to a vegan diet, instead of avoiding carbs, you're eating the healthy carbs. You know, things like rice and beans and sweet potatoes and so forth.
And lots of fruit.
Lots of fruit, and the weight loss is better. When people go on a low-carb diet, that leaves them with meat, gravy. Those things have a lot of bad fat, and a fair number of low-carb dieters, their cholesterols go up. And over the long run, there's been enough time to track how they do. Their mortality is also higher too. So it's an unhealthy thing, but for some reason, it's kind of back to the eat muscle kind of thing.
I know. In your book, The Cheese Trap, it talks about how people say plant-based diets are so restrictive. And with the keto diet or low-carb diets, I mean, that is really a restrictive diet. You can't eat fruit, you can't eat potatoes, you can't eat rice, you can't eat bread, you can't eat pasta. And to call, at the end of the day, I think people just want any excuse to eat meat and cheese. And to call a plant-based diet that's packed with thousands of nourishing varieties of fruits and vegetables and foods, to call that restrictive is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's because people haven't tried it and they're not too sure. When I was a kid, growing up in North Dakota, we had roast beef, baked potatoes, and corn every day. Except for special occasions, it was roast beef, baked potatoes, and peas. And that's like what I knew about food. Well, I live in Washington, D.C. now, and it's like LA or any other big city. There is Italian food, and Mexican food, and Chinese food, and Japanese food, and they all do vegan really well. And Thai, and Korean, and Afghani, and all these cultures that have a million wonderful kinds of totally plant-based foods. If you told me, can't have any of that, go back to your roast beef, baked potatoes, and corn. You know, to me, that's a restrictive diet.
Me too.
You know,
me too.
I just eat chicken breast, or some people eating egg white or whatever. No, you're much better off with a plant-based diet.